Their trainer tip, except we're doing something a little different today. Going live with UFC 2. Gonna answer any questions that you guys have. And meanwhile, I'm gonna play some UFC on my PS4. Thank you guys for coming in. I know the chat's gonna be flooded any second now while it loads. But this video will be uploaded and added to fightTIPS. So I want to make sure I answer any questions that you have. Cormier or Johnson? I'm going to go with Cormier on that one. I think it's going to be similar to the first one. I know Johnson's going to make a ton of improvements and pace himself better. What's up, everybody? I'm seeing Matthew, Adler, Damian, Keenan, Braden. Thank you guys for coming in. If I miss your questions, if it's urgent, just type it out again. All right, don't hesitate. I want to make sure I'm not going to be playing very closely. I just want to have some sort of content for you guys, but mostly I'm here just to talk to you guys and answer any questions that you may have. What's up, Involved Stim, Hugo, Victor, Galaxy. What's the difference between MMA and UFC? MMA stands for Mixed Martial Arts. UFC stands for Ultimate Fighting Championship. So UFC is an organization that hosts MMA fights. So UFC and Bellator are MMA organizations. MMA is the sport or the style. How do you fight someone who kicks a lot? If you're talking about like what Conor McGregor just threw right there, like wheel kicks and Taekwondo, point karate style, I want you to watch Nicky Holskin against Raymond Daniels. You want to put pressure on them. You want to get them close. You want to put them up against the ropes because they're dangerous when they're at range, like really far away, right? If I'm throwing kicks like this, just like he just threw at me, that's the range at which they're dangerous. If I step in deep and I get in real tight, he's not going to be able to hit me with them as much. And then I'm going to start working body. I'm going to go legs. And then I can also catch kicks as well. All right, so that's how you fight someone who kicks a lot. What exercises should I do to gain weight? More so, it should be what kind of foods are you eating, and you want to eat a lot of them. You just want to up your caloric intake, so just more calories, all right? You don't want to eat bad foods. You don't want to be eating pints of ice cream, but would be good to eat more chicken, more eggs, more fish. And of course, you need to be lifting too, right? You don't want this to just store in your belly and turn to fat. You want to make sure that it's muscle. Liam Hannah wants a shout out. Yo, what's up from DC? National Paintball says, hey, Khabib or McGregor. I'd go with McGregor on that against Khabib. I know most people are saying Khabib. And of course I see why. You know, the guy's a monster. But here's my reasoning. It's just because in his last fight against Johnson, he got caught. He got tagged. And not that McGregor's necessarily a better striker than Johnson. It just shows that Khabib is susceptible. He can get caught. He can get staggered. So, you know, how else are you going to beat Khabib, right? You're not going to out-wrestle him. You're going to have to knock him out. So I got to go with McGregor on that one, but I wouldn't be surprised either way. How do you stop a takedown? There's a couple different ways. You got the sprawl is the most common way, and the sprawl breaks down into, you know, before you even get to the sprawl. Sprawl is almost like a last means to avoid the takedown. First is just keep your distance. If I'm this far away and he shoots him for a takedown, obviously he's not going to hit me, right? So another thing that I could do is just sort of push down at the head or use my hands on the head or shoulders to keep him away. I could also use my own head to put it on like his traps, on his collarbone. That can keep distance. And then if he gets underneath of all of that and he gets real close and he touches my hips, then my hips have to go down. So I push down at his head and the back of his shoulders down to the ground. That's what you call a sprawl. Prime GSP or McGregor? That one I'd have to give the GSP. I think GSP would be the perfect style for McGregor. Decent enough boxing so that he wouldn't get tagged. He'd go right under the shots and try to take him down. And I think he'd be able to keep him down. Let me see. What's your GT, bro? What's GT? Oh, gamer tag. I believe it's just Shane Faison on here. Flying knee. Is it better to fight being skinny or fat? How about neither? I'd say like somewhere in the middle. You need enough body fat to cushion the joints. You want muscle, and you don't want to be too light. So right there in the middle would be good. Boxing or MMA, what's better? Depends. What do you mean, Roberto? In what rules and what setting? If we're talking about a boxing match, obviously boxing is better. If we're talking about an MMA match, MMA is better. If we're talking about a street fight and street self-defense, I'd go with MMA just because it's more well-rounded. Ever thought about going pro? I have, Jalen. I have thought about it. And I wouldn't say it's entirely off the table, but it's not really something, it's not one of my dreams or my passions right now. I'm really focused on the business, I'm focused on fightTIPS, and I'm focused on coaching others. That's always what I've wanted to do, and that's the reason why I competed at all. So I wouldn't keep your hopes up if you guys are really wishing that I would compete and go pro. Push that guy into the cage. Sorry, I'm not really paying attention to the game. I'm paying more so to the chat. But I'll get him up against the cage. There you go. Let's work these legs a little bit. Let's work these legs. Can you please do a fight like I saw in all caps, but I missed the rest of it? And then I see Tyler, what do you do in a situation where you're fighting 2 versus 1 and you can't keep both them in front of you? It's tough. I mean, fighting one person is tough enough as is, but then to fight 2 people at once, it's not easy. It's all about evasive footwork, just like I'm doing here. And Michael Venom Page fought this weekend, and even though it wasn't the most exciting fight, his evasive footwork was great, right? He was up against the cage like this the whole time. However, the guy couldn't even touch him, right? And it was just because he's really good at his jukes and fakes. And you kind of want to do that same thing. If they're both attacking you at the same time, what you can do is clinch up like this, and then you can spin them, right? You can spin them and control them to get them in between the other guys so that you are now creating a straight line. How can I counter a strong and fast jab cross? It's a good question, and someone with a good jab cross, even though it's simple, can be hard. I mean, the very basic is parry, right? So hopefully he'll throw a jab at me, and I'll try to parry it. And then he's going to go leg kicks now, right? Another one. Maybe I can bait him into doing it. You know what's funny? It happens in the game and it happens in real life. Usually if whatever attack you throw, it's in our nature, it's in our human nature to do the exact same thing because it's fresh in our mind. So if I go jab cross, let's see if he wants to throw a jab cross back. Jab cross. He could probably hear me though because I got the microphone on, so he's probably not going to do it. He tags him with the left. He just keeps trying to set up that kick, isn't he? Alright, well, if someone's throwing the jab cross, you can slip to the right, slip to the left. You can parry. You can helmet guard. You can go underneath and shoot in for a shot. 20 seconds. You can parry one and then pull the other, right? Just lean back. Just like that, right? They throw a jab cross, you parry the jab or you block the jab, and then when the cross comes, you lean back, and then you can step in with the counter. I did not see Musasi fight. Sorry. Can you do a video about the peekaboo stance? You know who's got great videos on that is Triple V, JT Van V. If you type that in, JT Van V peekaboo, Shane Say Bay. Does that count? I saw someone said, is Muay Thai something? The Ward fight, the Ward and Kovalev. I actually didn't get to see it. I heard all about it. I heard Kovalev got robbed. But yeah, I didn't get to see it. It's a shame. I will watch it. I wanted to, but I was in San Jose for Bellator 165, which was awesome. Pull counter. Wow. Let's see if I can land it. Big straight punch. Man, it's a little sort of. What's up, Donovan? Whoa. Oh, I got caught on that one. It's off the body. If someone holds you on the ground and is punching you, what do? So, if you mean if someone's like mounted on top of you, it's tricky. But if you type in BJJ sweep mount or mount sweep, you'll see a couple. And we have a video that I did with Ant a couple years ago. Ultimately, what you want to do is trap their leg, the same side leg with your leg, trap the same side arm, so they have nothing to post. And then you're just going to buck up and you're going to try to just bridge your hips up and move them over to the side and sweep them or reverse it. Thoughts on Benson Henderson and Michael Chandler fight? I thought that fight was awesome. I got to see it live in person, and yeah, I mean, the whole arena was going nuts. It was a war from the very start too. That suplex that Chandler got was insane. Like, it was textbook. And then seeing it in person too, it was just like he had his back, and it was like, what's he gonna do? Is he gonna sweep the legs? Is he gonna climb up and try to get a rear naked? And then just lowered his level, hips in, and just threw him right over his head like he weighed 50 pounds. It was nuts. And then Benson Henderson showing like all the heart in the world. It almost seemed like that was his game plan. Weathered the storm, every definition of the expression, and it was awesome. Like, I thought personally it could have went either way. I was a little surprised at, well, a split decision, yeah, because it was that close. But I had it scored another round for Henderson. Can you use Muay Thai for self-defense? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's funny, I get a lot of questions and comments from you guys saying, Shane, do more self-defense videos, which is funny because martial arts, you know, that's the root of self-defense. All of these self-defense techniques come from one martial art or another. So yeah, absolutely. Punches, clinching up, knees, teeps. Muay Thai is one of the best. You couple that with some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or grappling, and you got a great recipe for self-defense. Let's see if I can knock him out in 5 seconds. We're both going for the same thing.
They go the distance.
Lead body kick to uppercut to the head. That combo usually always staggers. All right, good to know. Yeah, I'm not paying too much attention to the actual fighting. Shane is the white Bruce Lee. Yeah, not quite, but I'll take the compliment. Thank you. Thoughts on Kempo and Taekwondo? Well, I'm a black belt in Taekwondo, so of course I got respect for that. I love the traditional arts. You can't just use them. Like I said, you need to couple that with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, boxing, but we're seeing it more and more now in the UFC. Say, Blake, it's my birthday. Blake, happy birthday. How old are you? I'm 26. Can you believe it? How do I get out from a firm choke? Well, it depends. What kind of choke, Nick? Usually you want to go for the knot, right? You can't break a choke middle of someone's arm. So it's usually where the arms are, or where the hands are clasping. All right, the point of least resistance. Shane, what's your gamer tag? And can you do a Philly shell video? I think I've done a Philly shell one, but there are more on myfightgym.com for all access members. And that quickly, I already forget the first thing that you said. Thoughts on McMack? Have you ever thought about trying for the Olympics? I don't think I ever could or would. Don't really want to, though. I think that's the main reason why. What's up, Emilio? How long did it take for you to get your black belt in Taekwondo? It took me 5 years, I believe. How many hours a day do you train? It varies. Could be as short as 20 minutes, could be as long as 90 minutes, but I usually don't go past that. I usually don't take rests longer than a minute either, but they're usually shorter than that. How to practice leg movement? Footwork, right? By shadowboxing is going to be my #1 answer. Let's do Brad Pickett here. Yeah, shadowboxing. You can do agility drills like the agility ladder. Skipping rope is going to help. But one of my favorites to do is shadowboxing, but down in a crouched stance. So you bend your knees all the way down, almost like a low squat, and then shadowbox. And if you can be agile down there, you'll be agile standing upright. Shane, you're going to write a book about martial arts. I don't have anything planned right now. but I wouldn't say it's out of the realm of possibility. Someone said, can I learn Muay Thai on my own if I don't have an instructor? You're going to be very limited, and you will peak quick. That's why we made myfightgym.com, just so you have instruction, you have drills, but we always recommend joining a gym or hiring a coach. What can I do to increase flexibility? Stretch. We have tons of videos on that on fightTIPS. Who's your favorite MMA fighter? I'm going to go Josh Thompson. Just because he's a good friend of mine. It's my man. And then Boss Rutan. I saw him going semi-pro in the next 3 to 4 years, and then I didn't get the rest of it. Shane, Hungar Kung Fu. You the man, Samantha. Thank you. You the woman. What is the hardest martial arts to master? I'd say they're all an ongoing journey, and you never entirely master any of them. You're always a student. That's a good kick to the body. Margie says, how long does it take for sore neck muscles to heal? I know, isn't that one of the most annoying? I was doing a lot of neck stuff last week, and I feel like today was the first day that I have no soreness. Ibuprofen, stretch, rest, and ice it. It could take as long as a week, but sometimes you just need to massage it and get the blood flowing in that area.
Oh, that's a strong Muay Thai plum clinch.
Shane, I should keep my hands open when punching. I personally don't. I really focus on making sure that my fist is tight upon impact. I think it's what makes or breaks a strong punch. Think about it. If everything else is fundamentally correct, right? I torque my hips, I drive off the floor with my feet, extend my arm, right? But then my hand is loose. Just for the sake of this argument, it's completely open. Well, there's going to be some give, right? It's like having a big pad or a high-ounce glove at the end of your fist, as compared to a bare knuckle or an MMA glove. So, yeah, I mean, if that's what you're talking about, when punching, you should be making a tight fist on impact. You can keep them like a loose fist up until that point. You can even go open hand for your parries, but try to get in the habit of keeping them tight when you make impact. Tips for change southpaw. I think it said tips for changing southpaw, and I'd imagine you mean from southpaw to orthodox. I just did a video on this 2 days ago, Sunday. So check that video out. I gave you 3 different ways. Lil Ninja, what's up, Lil Ninja? Asking me to come to Chicago. I'd love to, and I'm sure it will happen. I just don't have anything planned right now. What keeps you motivated? Self-defense. And the stuff that you see on the news, you know, people getting attacked, people getting in fights. I just watched a video that Omar Isuf shared. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Omar Isuf. He's a fitness guy, aesthetics, functional training YouTuber. But he was talking about how last week he witnessed someone get murdered in a street fight. Guy got knocked out, and guy stepped on his head, stomped on his head, and the guy died. It was right outside of a bar that they were at. And it's stuff like that. That's what motivates me. You know, protecting my family in case anything were to ever happen outside or someone tries to break in. I want to be 100% confident and ready to be able to defend my family. What inspired you to start fighting? Jean-Claude Van Damme movies? No, I mean, growing up in Philadelphia, we weren't in the worst part, but it also wasn't the best. And status was sort of directly correlated to how often you fought and how tough you were. So we fought a lot growing up in grade school and high school. And I thought I'd have the edge if I had some formal martial arts training, so that's how I got into it. Who was your Sifu? Well, I train under a lot of people. I have trained under a lot of people in the past too, so constantly changing, but you know, I have mentors, I have idols that I look up to. Coach Kirian, the CSA, Vinny Bellucci, I worked for out in Philadelphia when I was a coach. Marco Trejo at Sweet Signs. You know, I'm always surrounding myself with people better than me and people I aspire to be. And I always will. You know, like I said earlier, you never reach a point where you're completely a master. You know, you're always a student. You have to remember that. It's healthy to think that way. Someone said, will learning to box help with fear? My fear that I have. And the answer is absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. I used this before talking about how if you can fight in front of thousands of people, right? You're trapped in a cage or you're trapped in a ring with one other guy that's trying to beat you up, trying to take your head off. Then imagine going into an interview with one other guy that's got you know, a pocket protector. Are you going to be afraid of that guy? He's not throwing any punches at you. You're not trapped in a cage. I would never be nervous on a job interview, having fought in Thailand and boxed in the Golden Gloves and the ghettos of Philadelphia. You know? How do you train emotionally? Like, how do you train for mental strength? It's tough, and it comes naturally with physical strength. You know, if I'm training 5 days a week with some of the best fighters in the world, then obviously I'm gonna mentally feel stronger as well and more confident. But I mean, there's different mental exercises that you can do. When I was first starting to do personal training professionally and full time, someone told me that I needed to work on my confidence, especially with sales. You know, approaching people and asking for thousands of dollars for a personal training package. They said, you are more qualified than most of the people in this gym, including the owner. Why aren't you confident? And I don't know, I'm afraid of no, I'm afraid of someone calling me out. And they're like, yeah, but you already know that you're more qualified than most of the people here. It's you're the problem. So what you need to do, and he gave me a mental exercise, he's like, before you leave the house, I want you to stand in front of the mirror and I want you to say 10 times in front of the mirror, and I'm going to curse here. I try not to curse in my videos, but I'm going to tell you exactly what he said was, Shane, you're the shit. And I point it, and you have to point at yourself in the mirror 10 times. And not only that, you have to believe it before you leave the house. I don't do that anymore, but I did it for about a month, and it really did help. But facing your fears helps build confidence. You know, if you're afraid of public speaking, if you're afraid of talking to someone that you like, the more you do it, the less scary it is because you've been there. It's the fear of the unknown usually that scares you. Bring back Project Hustle. McGregor versus Mayweather, thoughts in boxing rules. Mayweather, no question. 9 out of 10 times. Yes, of course, there's always a chance. There's always a chance it could go either way, but you're asking, you're pretty much saying who would win in a hockey match, Wayne Gretzky or Michael Jordan. You know, it's I really do believe it is that different. Not taking anything away from McGregor, he's great at what he does. But I'm getting beat up. Hold on, hold that thought. But Mayweather is the best at what he does. And he's at a weight close enough to McGregor that, yeah, I think it'd be easy work for him. In fact, McGregor takes a lot of the stuff that he knows from Mayweather. And he'll never admit that, but so many fighters have. So many fighters have watched and learned from from Mayweather. How do I fight someone bigger than me? We have multiple videos on that. You know, it's too much to talk about here, but you got feints, you got dirty fighting, right? It's a great equalizer. No one has strong eyelids. And then the overhand right has always been very successful for me and many other fighters. If you watch Hangman Choi against Mighty Mo, he knocked him out with an overhand right. How to become more aggressive? Besides sparring and really just focusing on that, what I like to do is put a treadmill on the speed of 3.8 miles per hour, and stay in your fight stance and just constantly move forward. I have a video on this as well if you type in how to be more aggressive in a fight. Shane had been training Muay Thai for 3 years and always wanted to do MMA. I didn't read the rest of that, but I'd imagine the question was something like, how do I transition? And my answer is that you have a good base. You know, a lot of famous UFC fighters have started the same way you have, right? With a striking base, with a Muay Thai base, and then went to learn the Jiu-Jitsu. I think KJ Noons was one that had said striking was really hard for me to learn, and I had to do it for years, but grappling I picked up quick, and then that's how I got into MMA. So, yeah, I mean, you continue doing it. You keep your Muay Thai strong, doing that 3-4 days a week, and then you have to start working on your problem areas, which is probably your strike or your grappling. So you could do some wrestling, you could do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you could do judo, and start off just a couple days a week so that you're retaining the information. Maybe you have to cut back on the Muay Thai because it's like learning 2 languages. But if you're comfortable enough, if you're comfortable enough with your Muay Thai, then you can spend more time in your Jiu-Jitsu. I never did wrestling. Someone asked if I ever did wrestling, and I always wish I had. I always wanted to, but the high school that I went to and the grade school didn't offer it. In fact, my high school was a very small charter school in downtown Philadelphia, and we didn't have a gymnasium, let alone a place to wrestle or a wrestling team. Yes, B. Jimenez says close to 1 million subs. Can you believe it? Thank you guys so much. You know, from the bottom of my heart, I really mean it. This has been a long road, but a really fun trip. And I'm happy that you guys are with me along the way. Here's to many more, too. So thank you guys so much for the support. Couldn't have done it without you. Rand Levy, what's up? What's the best way to improve defense and reflexes for boxing and MMA? Well, let's take that question to the next level. Be more specific. Reflexes for what? I'd imagine you mean defense, blocking. Then you need to work your defense and block. So sparring is going to be the number one, right? Mitts. And sparring doesn't have to be 100%. It doesn't even have to be 50%. It can be systematic sparring. It could be sparring drills where maybe you have a set combo and you go back and forth with someone. Or maybe one person's the puncher, one person's the kicker. Maybe you limit it. I can only throw punches and kicks on my left side. You know, stuff like that. Here we go. Shane Faison versus Bruce Lee. Predictions. Ferguson versus Khabib. Who wins? I think that's going to be a tough one. I think Khabib's going to be able to take him down, and you know the rest. I'm surprised you didn't get bombarded by fans. I can't see the rest of that. Where do you mean? Where at? Easy way to fight a slap boxing. What's an easy way to fight a slap boxing type style? Straights. You know, I never, whenever I slap box people, I always felt bad because they would always throw these wide hands left and right. If you go right down the center with more like a palm strike, which I felt bad doing, you keep your shoulders high. You're going to block the punches, the wide slaps, and then you're going to land your own. And if they're leaning back, go to the body. No one ever goes to the body in slap boxing, right? Palm strike them to the stomach. What's up, Kanan? Shane, I love your videos. You're a huge inspiration. Well, thank you, Seth. Could you give me some pointers for Muay Thai and kickboxing, please? Listen to your coach and reps on reps. Just, you got to rep everything out. You got to be throwing hundreds and hundreds of punches and kicks a day. Game of Thrones or Narcos? Guess what? I have never watched either. Not a single one. Alright, I just almost killed Bruce Lee with a flying knee. Just gonna taunt him a little bit. What's up, Ash? Thank you, brother. What are you gonna do when you hit 1 million subs? Should I announce it? Can I announce it? Is it gonna be open to the public? Yeah? Alright. 1 million subs, we're going to throw a party. We're going to rent a place out. We're going to invite pro fighters. and it's going to be open to the public. It's going to be in the Los Angeles area. I haven't announced it yet, so this is the official announcement. Also coming out with an apparel line. Also working on a lot of stuff with my fight gym, and also gonna have a gym set up, a new gym. Probably shouldn't announce this yet, but I'm also working on a self-defense tool. But that's gonna be a long time before that comes out. Yeah, so a lot of things, and I just want to give back to you guys. You know, I want to show you that I really do appreciate your support and subscription to the channel. So yeah, so I'm gonna give you guys a lot of stuff that you enjoy and benefit from. It's gonna be sweet. Whew. Braden, I just answered that question about fighting someone bigger. I have tons of videos on it. Fight like Jack Dempsey. Yeah, a lot of people have been asking about that in the Dempsey role. Ow. And Bruce Lee. Where'd your form go, bro? Just getting excited. What's up, Jonathan? Will doing yoga help my flexibility for martial arts? Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You might need to do a couple different ones on top of it. But yeah, yoga's awesome. Thoughts on Idol Portal's movement? I think it has its benefits. Yeah, I think it does. I don't know that I'd spend that much time on it, though. You know, because like a lot of that training is slow-paced stuff. And I'd rather keep my training more sport-specific than that. I know that's sort of the angle that they take, is these are movements that are going to benefit the muscles and angles of fighting, but to me, I really like it. I like my training to be so sport specific, down to the point where I'm doing the motions that I'm going to be doing in a fight. That's why I do a lot of shadow boxing, bag work, mitts, sparring. You know, that's the kind of stuff that I'm going to be doing. That's the stuff that I'm training for, so that's what I want to do most. What's up, Jose? Conor versus Brock Lesnar, who would win? I don't know. Honestly. Every time I go to answer, I'm thinking the opposite person.
Round 2 is underway. That last round was an
How do you throw power punches? If I stop worrying about power, probably. Really, that's always everyone's main focus, even if they try not to focus on it to the highest pro level. And every time you try to put power in it, you usually miss or don't land clean. So focus more so on precision. Look at Conor McGregor. It doesn't look like he puts a lot into his punches, but he drops guys, right? He knocks people out. So yeah, just focus more so on your precision. A double M bag, shadow boxing, but you can do stuff like clap push-ups and other plyometric upper body stuff that emulates throwing a punch. Involved something, wanted a shout out, but I missed it. Did you play any other sports growing up? Someone said. That's one of the reasons I got into martial arts, is because I was never good at any other sports. I did hockey, ice roller, and foot hockey. I did, I think, soccer when I was really young. What else did I do? I think that was it. I tried to get into, like, I think I took like a drawing class. It's not really a sport. But then, yeah, I got into martial arts at 9 years old. And then Muay Thai, and then boxing, and then just everything else. How much time? Oh, and I missed it that quick. No, someone just asked, did you wrestle back in high school? No, my school didn't even have a gym, let alone a wrestling program. Ward Kovalev, I didn't get to see it yet, but I heard Kovalev got robbed. It's a shame. What's up, Ban? For self-defense, karate or taekwondo? I'd say either. I'd say it's the same.
He's able to avoid that big leg kick.
I would say it depends on the dojo and what they teach. What kind of karate? Is it Kyokushin? Is it WTF, ITF, Taekwondo? Yeah. What time do you sleep? I go to bed early and I sleep a lot. I sleep late. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to be an entrepreneur and run my own business, is because I love my sleep, and I don't want to. If I don't have to wake up early, then I won't. So I usually go to bed around midnight and wake up 8:30. So I make sure I get at least 8 hours. I'm still a white belt. Huh? Oh really? Oh really? Oh, that's alright. Who is Shane in the game? I'm Shane. I'm myself, fighting Bruce Lee. Quan kicker versus Shane versus GNT versus Mike Tyson, someone said. I'd pay to see it, and I'd be in it. Would you want to be in the UFC? Not really. If they offered me a lot of money, I would do one fight. But nah, my passion's in coaching other people, not competing. What's your favorite games? Like all-time favorite games? This could be a good one. How about you guys? What are your all-time favorite video games? First one, Mega Man Legends. I just feel like the fun factor in that game was so high. I know it was so unlike the other Mega Men and people hated that, but the game was the best. Zombies Ate My Neighbors, another great game. Then I got into like Diablo and Baldur's Gate, StarCraft. I played StarCraft a lot. Counter-Strike, and then Team Fortress. Then I fell in love with Team Fortress. And when Team Fortress 2 came out, that was like finally I got back into gaming. It was something that I liked. Played Halo. But yeah, I really like Overwatch. It's a lot like Team Fortress. It's awesome. Will wrestling help the ground game? Of course it will. It'll help you take them down. It'll help you control. But the second submissions are involved, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu prevails. And that's not me saying that. That's one of the best wrestlers in like the Northeast area of the state. Ryan Kammer, he was a guy I used to work with and train with, and was a great wrestler. Wrestled for years since he was in grade school, and then was grappling with a brown belt. And he took him down at will. You know, it was easy for him to take him down. But then the second they were on the ground, he got submitted quick. I keep seeing Shane Hungar, and I have no idea what that is. When did you start doing MMA? When I was 15. What the hell just happened? How do you counterpunch like Floyd? Well, that has to be your style. You know, he's got that Philly shell stance, which is a wider stance. So he really likes to rely on the pull, the lean back pull counter. He's not a strong offensive fighter, so he's not chasing you down with aggressive footwork. So he's got that wider stance. That's going to helps you spring off, push back in. I'm trying to fight like him now. Here you go, ready? The pull. And then he throws an elbow. Well, I guess Floyd does throw elbows a little bit, right? Doesn't he get called out for that? Thoughts on joining overpriced karate dojos? Well, what's overpriced? I mean, any martial arts gym that you join is going to be over $100. UFC gym's the only one that's below that. But you're not going to, if you're looking to compete, that's not the gym for you. It's like an LA Fitness with punching bags. Well, that's not true. I can't knock on them too much. You know, they have classes there, and it depends on who the coaches are at that location. But
Round one, great accuracy on that shot. A lot of great striking throughout this fight. And again, here in
how do you pronounce your name? It's Shane Faison. Phase in, phase out. Who's harder? McGregor, Tony, or Khabib? I mean, they all fight for a living, so they're all hard. No, I never fought. Trained with guys that fought in the UFC, but no, I never fought. Triple G versus Canelo. You know, it's funny. I keep changing my mind on that one. I keep going back and forth, so I really don't know. Canelo, I think, is the better boxer, and Triple G is different. You know, he's got a different style, and I think that's what's giving people problems. Not to mention how hard he hits and how people are scared of him. I don't think Canelo is. I don't think Canelo's scared of him. So that's going to help. That's going to play a role. You got to be slick. You got to throw punches and bunches. And I think Canelo's more of a one-punch kind of guy. That's not true. He can throw a bunch of punches if his opponent's not moving. You know, he wasn't throwing a ton of punches at Floyd, because he was constantly moving and keeping him moving. Canelo's not the best at punching while moving, right? He's got to be still. His opponent's got to be still. So, you know, Triple G's not the most evasive guy. He kind of stalks you. So for that, maybe Canelo, but realistically, Triple G's probably going to catch him with one and knock him out. I don't know. Could go to decision because they both have really hard chins. Who should I be? Kane? Now, you know who I always am? Let me be, where's he at? Sean Jordan, baby. Where do you train? Right now I'm at Sweet Science and my home gym that I'm working on. Yeah, Sweet Science in Hawthorne, California. Permanent change to southpaw tips. Just like I said, again, reps. Shadow box in southpaw. Hit the heavy bag in southpaw. Do I recommend it? No. I mean, if you're already good in the orthodox stance, why not train both? Right? TJ Dillashaw, Dominic Cruz. Know how to switch your stances. Now your opponent's got to worry about two different fighters.
He weighed in at 260 pounds. Jones will have a 9
budget-wise, joining MMA, what should you start first? I mean, if you can join the wrestling team for free or join a local boxing club for free, you know, they're very two different base arts, but budget-wise, yeah, I mean, you can do that. But yeah, I mean, you could join a UFC gym if that's all you can afford. Absolutely, yeah. That's better than nothing. It's better than no training. Who's your favorite YouTuber? My favorite YouTuber is Steve Rogenbuck. He's probably the one I watch the most, and it's very different. It's probably not what you guys are expecting. But I don't watch a lot of fitness or fighting channels on there. I really don't. I spend so much time creating YouTube videos, editing YouTube videos, uploading my own YouTube videos. By the time I'm done doing all that, I really don't want to be on YouTube. So I don't watch a ton of YouTube, but the one channel that I do really enjoy is Steve Rogenbuck. He does like a lot of motivational speaking, comedy. He's a really goofy guy, but I really like him. Stipe or Kane, who wins? That's one I'd love to see. I would say if Kane's in his prime, I would say like when he was in his prime, when he was on his win streaks, I would have said Kane. But now I could see not him getting beat up, but just getting caught with a punch that his head can't handle anymore. That maybe in the past he could, but I could see him getting knocked out. I'll go Cain Velasquez on that. I'll say Cain. I never did train jiu-jitsu or ninjutsu, no, but I had a couple guys who actually trained it that were that were students of mine, and they were saying they wanted a more realistic art for self-defense because ninjutsu just wasn't it, and they liked what I taught better. And I'm not knocking it. They said they enjoyed it too. They were very like agile with rolls and falls and stuff like that. But they're like, you know, we want to learn how to strike and clinch and all that. What's your opinion on CM Punk? I think he's smart as a businessman. I think he made a right move. He probably made a great amount of money fighting. He's got balls. You know, you literally could die getting in the cage and fighting. So definitely a tough guy mentally. So you got to respect him there. I just don't think you can learn fighting that quick. Not even the technique either. He could probably spar well, but the second it becomes real, like that pressure, and the guy could potentially just run at you full force while throwing punches, it's hard to get over that. And if you're going to jump into the biggest MMA league in the world and do that, your first one, like you don't even have a first amateur fight. You don't even get to experience that. This is your first pro fight, and it's in the UFC, and everyone's watching. That's a lot of pressure. So I knew he was going to lose. Like, I would have questioned how real it was if he had won. But I respect him. Who would win, kickboxing or judo? I would say kickboxing would win in a kickboxing match, and judo would win in a judo tournament. In a street fight, depends on the person, you know. Depends on where the fight starts. Are they chest to chest arguing, or are they at distance? Because the closer they are, the more advantage the judo guys got. Are you gonna make a Muay Thai versus a turkey for Thanksgiving? I didn't even think of that. No, I'm not. I'm eating that bad boy. My mouth's already watering thinking about it. Someone said, what inspired you to start fighting? I answered that one earlier. Yeah, I said how everyone in the neighborhood fought, so I just wanted the edge. So I wanted formal martial arts training. Yes, I know, I always see that one. Someone keeps asking for a Koban fight like, and an Enrico Kell fight like. I gotta get on that. The only thing is, I only want to do fight likes now if I can get the actual fighters in it. You know, I don't want to replicate them anymore. I feel like I'll be stepping back too much. So if you guys want to reach out, that's the best way to make it happen. If there's any fight likes that you guys want specifically, reach out to those fighters and say, do a fight like with Shane Faze and the fightTIPS. He's got a big YouTube channel. You know, that's the best way to make that happen. What are you guys' thoughts on Fader returning and fighting in Bellator?
Oh, that's a heavy body kick. Very nice.
How long does it take to master splits? The more you stretch, if you're doing it 14 days a week, you know, twice a day, every day, you could see some serious results and probably get a full split in 4 or 5 months. Who is Shane? Oh, you mean in this game? I'm a guy on the right. I'm Jones. I mean Jordan. What am I saying? The J.O. got me. I'm saying I'm not Jones.
Oh, and another vicious leg kick.
How much for personal training? From me, Samuel? I do $135 an hour for personal training. But right now, I don't have the time for it. I haven't had any steady clients in like 2 or 3 months. I just sort of I just reach out and say, like, if you're ready, if this works with your schedule, I'm available at this time. So I usually don't know until like 2 days ahead. Nick Diaz return fight. Weren't we saying Bisping? I think I read that somewhere. That I'd like to see. I'd like to see Bisping and Nick Diaz. I think stylistically that would be a really good fight. Like, just entertaining. I feel like those guys would just stand in front of each other and not stop punching.
Joe, that's a great move catching the kick.
Someone said, oh, Joe G Gamer said, Shane, I know you're bro. You're the best. Well, thank you, man. Thank you, brother. You're with good people if you're with either of my brothers.
He's going to try to take the back, I think.
Can Marie cook, someone said. Who is that? Marie, you hear that? Someone just said, can Marie cook?
There's a nice head kick that lands. Excellent striking on display in that round.
Marie's cooking right now. And she asked me not to tell you, but she burnt the chicken. Alright guys, I'm going to head out. Thanks for coming in to this live Q&A session. Thursday's video should be awesome, so look forward to that. Thank you guys for coming in. Sorry if I missed any of your questions. Send me a tweet. That's usually the best place to reach me. So Twitter at fightTIPS. Until next time, I'm Shane with fightTIPS. Self-defense for the underdogs. Thanks, guys.